you know, my rule has long been, do not talk about impeachment. Do not talk about anything surrounding impeachment. It's like, don't talk about the start of the Iraq War. There's just some things you leave behind. In this case, though, I got to say, how old was he? 52, 53? She was like 22, 23. Really? They're giving him still by attacking her, who stayed quiet all these years.
Didn't take money.
They're attacking her. I don't know, in defense of him.
Probably went through hell.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I just...
Let me just say one last thing. Can you imagine what it must have been like to have yourself all over the internet like that, because the internet was just taking off, the Drudge Report and everything, in terms of social media really spreading the word and just ripping her to shreds? I know kids in small local communities that can be taken literally from straight A's to something else because of a text that went bad or because of a picture that went bad. Can you imagine the hell this girl went through?
Actually,
I think she can write an article about it.
And she's clearly been tormented, and even people are making fun of her for comparing herself to somebody who was bullied in the article. But she essentially has been publicly bullied for decades.
Oh, Monica, close your mouth and disappear? Andrea Peyser, really? Really?
I mean,
come on.
I wonder if one of these female columnists' daughters had a daughter who worked for an extraordinarily powerful man who was in her early 20s, and the man was in his 50s. And the man preyed on their young daughter.
Would not write that article.
Their young daughter in her early 20s was preyed upon by a really powerful man, the most powerful man in the world, in their 50s. I wonder if they would be attacking the 22-year-old or the most powerful man in the world in the 50s. I think these women, if any of them are mothers, would not be attacking the woman who was preyed upon. But for some reason, and again, we don't want to bring it up, but for some reason, this is what went on in the 1990s. You want to know what's in my head all the time? This is what went on in the 1990s. The guy that acted horrifically, the guy who not only to Monica Lewinsky, but a lot of other people, he got a free pass. And his approval ratings went up in the 60s, and I learned when that train was coming, just step back and let it pass, because there was nothing that was going to be said. He always got free passes. He is still getting free passes. Again, for anybody who has a daughter that has anything to do with these attacks on Monica Lewinsky, ask yourself what you would do if your daughter lived in shame and was a punchline for 18 years, and after 18 years actually spoke for the first time, while the man who did what they did to the young woman
continues to
was a rock star to end all rock stars. And by the way, all these years later, this is not about Bill Clinton, okay? We all believe in forgiveness. He's been forgiven. This, by the American people, and this...
We need to do the same.
This should be about the women who are piling on Monica Lewinsky this morning. If it were your daughter, what would you do? If it were your daughter, what would you do? It's a disgrace. It was a disgrace then. It's a disgrace now. And I can't believe I've had to go back to the 1990s and talk about this, because I swore I would never talk about it again.
I'm sorry.
Because you know what? Because this happened in the 1990s. Forget about her. Forget about her. Talk about Juanita Broderick. Talk about all these other women. Again, I believe in forgiveness, etc., etc., etc. Why is it that even in 2014, it is the women who are turned into the bad guys? I never got it. I still don't get it. And all these years later, there are females going out protecting Bill Clinton from his horrific acts.
Hugging him.
I'm about to pass out now. Again, I wouldn't bring it up, as you joke around a whole lot. Bill Clinton and I have made up. We're friendly. We're even nice to each other.
Oh my gosh.
This is not about Bill Clinton. This is about the women who were eviscerating Monica Lewinsky, who Willie, as you said, for 18 years was quiet. And by the way, lived a life of shame, and her entire existence reduced to a punchline. And she stays quiet. shows a lot of dignity, a lot more dignity than people who preyed upon her and then tried to turn her into a slut or a nut. A 22-year-old daughter, really? And now they're coming out kicking her in the face? Please, you all are sick. And you were sick in the 90s. You women's rights ladies, you were sick in the 90s. You all went around, you defended the wrong person. Time and time again, whether it was Juanita Broderick, whether it was Monica Lewinsky, you defended them. And you're doing it 18 years later. You're pathetic. And if you have young daughters, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's all I'm going to say. I swear to God, I will not talk about this again for another 20 years.
Well, I'm glad